Hello and welcome. We're going to be looking at what we're going to call the common factor, right? And I'm going to introduce this from the perspective of normal numbers or just general numbers for now. And then we're going to start looking at it algebraically. So let's talk about numbers. Okay, so let's take the number 10 and let's take the number 24. Let's take those two numbers and then let's list each of their factors. Now, the first factor of 10 is 1 and 10, right? Okay, before I continue with that, let's briefly just tell you what's a factor. A factor is just a number that can divide perfectly into another number. Okay? A number that can divide perfectly into another number. That's what a factor is. So if I talk about the number 6 and I say 6 is equal to 2 multiplied by 3, the following is true. It means that 2 is a factor of 6 and 3 is a factor of 6. Okay, because 2 goes into 6 3 times and 3 goes into 6 3 times. So each of these are considered factors. The factors in this particular example of 6 are 2 and 3. So as you can see, that holds true. Okay, so let's go back to the thing that we see over here, common factor. Now the common factor, let's first talk about listing the factors of each of these numbers. The factors of 10 are 1 and 10 because 1 multiplied by 10 gives you 10. Therefore 1 goes into 10 perfectly, and so does 10. Another factor of 10 is 2 and 5. Because when I say 2 multiplied by 5, I get 10. And therefore 5 goes into 10 2 times, and 2 goes into 10 5 times, and each of those are considered factors, right? 3 doesn't go into 10, 4 doesn't go into 10, 5 goes into 10 2 times again, and then the factors start to repeat themselves. The moment you reach the square root in terms of the factors, or the factors repeat themselves, then we consider that the factors, those are all the factors. So I've listed all the factors of 10 over here. So let's look at 24. The first factor of 24 is 1 and 24. The next factor of 24 is 2 and 12, right? The next factor of 24 is 3 and 8, right? The next factor of 24 is 4 and 6, and then we get 5 and nothing, and then 6 starts to repeat itself because it's 6 and 4. And so those are all the factors of 24. Now the question is, do you see any factors that are common? Well, number 1 is common. 1 is common, right? And so is 2, because 2 appears in both sets of factors, and so does 1. Okay. Right. So now if I had to give you a question and I give you an expression, the expression is 10 plus 24, and I'm going to ask you to factorize that expression. Okay. Now when I get something that's factorized, it needs to look like this: something times something times something. So A times B times C plus D, this is considered factorized, because there's my first factor, there's my second factor, and this third bracket over here is my third factor. In essence, when something is factorized, it is something times something, right? Or one thing multiplied by another thing. At the end of the day, we're just looking for things that are multiply, 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 times, times, times. So this expression over here, 10 plus 24, is not factorized. It is not factorized. Okay, it's a simplified expression that would add up to 34, but it's not factorized. So let's factorize it. Well, and I'm going to use this according to the common factor. Now the common factors, the highest version thereof is 2 and 2, right? 2 and 2. So I'm going to try and turn each of these equations into 2 multiplied by something, let's make it 2 multiplied by 5 plus 2 multiplied by 12. And so you can see that sort of, it's still an expression. It is not completely factorized because I got something times something plus something times something. I want something times something multiplied by something times something times something, not something plus something else. Okay, so let's look at that. Now, what is common in each of these? Do you see that the 2 is in both of these? Right? The 2 is in both of these. Okay, so let's take that 2. That 2 is what we consider a common factor. So I'm going to take that 2 and I'm going to then say 2 times what? 2 times what will give me 2 times 5? Well, that's simple, because 2 times 5, 2 times what will give me 2 times 5? Obviously 2 times 5. And then I just put the plus over here and I say 2 times what will give me 2 times 12? The answer is just simply 12. But now there's a way that I can skip this step, and that's what we're going to be looking at in these questions next. Right? That's what we're going to be looking at in these examples of common factors. 2 multiplied by 5 is 2 times 5. 2 multiplied by 12 is 2 times 12. So if I remove the 2 and I put it outside a bracket and then I open up a bracket and I say 2 times what will give me 10, the answer is 2 times 5. 2 times what will give me 24? 2 times 12. That's if you were to skip this middle step. And really, this thing over here is the equivalent of 2 multiplied by 17, which is equal to 34, and that's exactly what we got upstairs over there. But I want you to carefully look at this and see that this thing over here, this is called my factorized expression because it's something multiplied by something. This is also a version of the factorized expression. Okay, so both of these are valid factorized expressions. And to basically see what a common factor is, you need to list the factors and then you need to find the highest one, the factor that is in each of those. That's what we are interested in. And now we've seen a clear example in which we use numbers. The next stage and the next step for us is to move on and find how we can work with this in terms of algebraic variables.